All right. So thank you for coming to Three Habits to Keep Your Customers Coming Back. My name is Stephanie Cord-Miller. I am the CEO of Empower Your Results, a business performance coaching organization that helps you prioritize and accelerate your earnings and maximize your potential. All right. With that, thank you so much for being here today. And let's go ahead and just jump right in. We're going to talk about accelerated solutions that will keep your customers happy and the revenue flowing back. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Stephanie Cord-Miller. I have over 25 years of experience. I have worked in local and national media positions inside of CBS and NPR. And I've also worked at a global higher ed tech company called Blackboard, now acquired by a company named Anthology, where I've had the privilege of working with hundreds of small businesses and nonprofits. And so I come from a deep history of entrepreneurship where I love to help organizations change from the inside out. And so that effectively means I love change. And so most of my focus in this organization is around business transformation, because I believe digital transformation is business transformation is digital transformation. But the real key to it all is that it comes down to managing change in the organization. All right. So a couple things about me. I'm an agent of change. Wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, I'm probably looking for ways to innovate. It's just the nature of who I am. I love a good plan. I love planning dinner parties. I love planning trips, and I love helping businesses strategically plan their roadmap to success. Why? I've been a workplace abuse survivor, and I'm also a cancer survivor. So I understand the power that resilience can have inside of your life, and then how you can bring that inside your business. I've also witnessed too many broken cultures. Mostly it comes down to bad management, bad leadership. And I have 3 points of view, or I have 3 things as my point of view on leadership, right? So I believe that the leaders of today and for tomorrow, they need to be trauma-informed, empathy-led, and accountability-driven. We're at an age where we have to start recognizing that leadership and management is more than a role. They are behaviors and capabilities that you need to learn how to master to be good at it. Right. And I'm also a student of management systems and business agility. Business agility is something that I anchor my entire practice around. Why? What is my why? What's my big, hairy, audacious goal of the impact I want to have in this world? I want to have a material impact on the leaders and managers to create healthy cultures and productive teams for working America, and then maybe the world, hopefully the world. But right now, my focus is working America, because we have too many bad managers, too many bad leaders, and we have a lot of solopreneurs and business owners who have been pulling it up by their bootstraps, but they just don't have certain capabilities to make them really good at managing their teams and their resources. So I want to help bring a change to that in work culture. When I say I anchor my business and my coaching practice on the business agility principles, here are a quick peek at these business agility principles. I do have another presentation that I can go much deeper into that I'll be making available on demand soon for those that are really interested in learning more about business agility and how it can actually provide you the freedom, flexibility, and the resilience you need to address anything that happens to you in the future, no matter what. So business agility is a continuum. It is not a state, and it is not a final destination. It's also expressed through a range of capabilities, and those capabilities can be utilized across different places within the organization at different times. There's also no single path or a framework for business agility, meaning how you implement it, how you're going to learn how to incorporate business agility. There's no one single path. There's many ways in which you can incorporate business agility into your operation. And then it can only be expressed and measured through behaviors. This one's interesting, right? Because we're saying the success of whether or not you are embracing a set of behaviors in your organization has that much of a material change and that much of a material impact on your business? Yes. Yes, it does. All right. And so this is an example of how business agility covers 5 domains, right? So they've kind of bucketed these behaviors and capabilities in a space that allow us to kind of focus in on them more and more. So we have 5 domains. We have about 18 different capabilities, and then there's over 80 behaviors that can reflect that particular capability. It's good stuff, right? There's this all information came from the Business Agility Institute. They have a website where you can download their annual report, and a lot of my information around business agility will come from that reliable source. So one of my favorite quotes when it comes to business strategy of all time, because strategy is about what we're doing now in order to shape the future to our advantage. So what does that mean? You know this, right? As a leader, as a business owner, or an aspiring business owner, that what decisions you make today really don't bear the fruit or the results for a couple of months to potentially a year, right? So this is about playing chess, not checkers. And it's about understanding now what the moves you make now and how it will shape your advantage in the future. So we always need to be thinking about where do we need to be and what decisions should we be making today to get us there in 6 to 12 months. So all right, so this is where I like to do a little bit of interaction here. And so Perna, Monique, and Brandon, what I'd love to do is, what does keeping customers happy mean for your business? And I'd love for you to add this in your chat, or if you'd like to share it with all of us, I'm happy to unmute microphones so that you can contribute. If you'd like to, raise your hand or add something into the chat. And I would love to know, what does keeping customers happy mean for your business? Go ahead. We'll give us about 30 seconds for everybody to participate. Anybody want to contribute here? Right? So it usually means more revenue, right? More opportunity. It means structure. Yep, I love that one too. Good one, Monique. So what does keeping customers happy mean for your business? It means that you've got a good structure in place to make sure you're servicing those customers and keeping them happy. And when you have happy customers, you typically have happy employees. And when you have happy employees, you have happy customers. So the intersection of employee experience and customer experience are really important in this part of thinking about how do you keep customers happy and how do you keep them coming back, right? And then you also have to think about, what does it mean for you as the leader, as the business owner, as an executive? You know, what does this mean for you if you can keep your customers happy in your business? Typically, that means professional growth, more opportunity, and leading to more successes or rewards. Okay, so the reason I asked this question is because it's really important to understand the difference between working on and working in the business. So working on the business is something we're going to talk about today, right? Where we're really thinking about the business as a whole, and understanding that, or recognizing that we need to be working on the business to help us make the right decisions, so that when we work in the business, we know what we're working on and why. Right? So the working on is really that strategic perspective. And I always kind of say, like, pretend you're a drone, that you're flying right above your business, and it allows you to see the horizon in front of you. It allows you to see more of the horizon around you. It actually helps you see way in advance to maybe there are things coming towards you that you're going to have to figure out how to address as they get closer and closer. So working on the business and working in the business are two separate things, both terribly important. And if you are an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a leader of your organization, you need to be working on your business at least half, if not more, as you start maturing and developing the organization and kind of building a rhythm or an engine or an operational system inside of your organization. Okay, when I talk about management systems, organizational systems, it's because these 6 components of your business is really what you need to be focusing on as you drive strategic decisions, or you make decisions that are going to have an impact on your business. So the vision and goals helps drive the work, right? The team habits and behaviors drive the team, right? And metrics help you understand the velocity and the capacity of your team so you know how much work can be done to continue to drive your vision and your goals. So these pieces are all interconnected, and you really need to think about them as interconnected components, that you can't work on them like in silos. They really need to be, and this is where you get into holistic or integrative approaches to thinking about your business. Another piece of mindset I want to kind of get us into as we kind of talk through these kind of these three habits that you can incorporate into your business. I want us to be clear about how we recognize and look at challenges or problems to solve, or a bug in the system, or something going on with a team's performance. Now, there are technical challenges and there are adaptive challenges inside most problems to solve. Humans typically lean into the technical solutions because they're very cut and dry, they can be easy to identify, and they can usually be contained within some kind of organizational boundary, and they can be quickly decided, or they can be, so let it be written, so let it be done. The adaptive challenges are the components that are the hard ones. They're not easy to identify. They may require changes in beliefs or roles or approaches to work. It's going to impact people that need to solve it the most. And those are the people that should be at the table helping decide solutions. It will usually cross those boundaries of departments or divisions inside of organization. And this is where you find the friction, because people often resist acknowledging these challenges or these types of problems, right? Because these solutions are going to require experimentation, maybe some new discoveries. And this is the big one for me. This is the human component. We have to deal with people having to change what they're doing to get to a different result. And that's hard for everyday humans to do, right? It's for people don't love change because it usually brings fear or pain, right? And we have to get our organization comfortable with addressing the pain, and being able to resolve it provides way more relief than a simple Band-Aid solution can offer. All right, so let's start getting into the 3 habits that will keep customers coming back. All right. We're going to talk about automating the 3 R's. Now, automating the 3 R's is really kind of bottom of the funnel, right? When you think about bottom of the journey. And the reason I bring this to attention is because most of your revenue will come from your repeat customers. Now, your business model may be designed specifically to capture recurring revenue. Some business models are not. Some business models are very much kind of a one transaction and that's it. And if that's the case, you have to recognize the impact that will have on the top of the funnel of your business and the actions you'll have to take to constantly feed that particular model. But referrals and reviews and renewals are elements that can be systematized, which I mean automated, right? So automating these can create hands-free engagement with the lower end of your funnel and kind of build some engagement with your potential customer base, whether it is towards the end of an engagement or it's right at the right after the engagement. So at end of service, you always want to try to do a quick survey to capture net promoter score and customer satisfaction. So we, in the industry, those are referred to as NPS scores and CSAT scores. So the promoter score is really about, would they refer you or recommend you to people in their circle about your business, right? So is this the word of mouth play? The reviews are really important, especially if you are in a service industry or you're in a service practice where most people are going to be using Google or a search engine, and they're going to be wanting to see what kind of reviews you offer, whether that is selling products on Amazon, whether that is getting reviews on your Google business profile. Reviews provide the social proof that the audience may need to feel like they want to lean in and be curious about you and seek out more information, right? Social proof, this whole back system could be designed just to support your social proof that you need to drive awareness to your offers and your services. So I recommend capturing that simple NPS score at the end of a service, which is, on a scale of 1 to 10, would you recommend this to a friend? And then the customer satisfaction score, if they are dealing with a touch point of support, or they are dealing with a milestone within the actual engagement that they're working with you through, or at the very end of the actual service provided, so you can capture satisfaction. So those are great places that you can automate. And then the habits beneath these, right, are that you're using the reviews in your marketing so that you can amplify your social proof. If people are big word of mouth amplifiers, so if they give you a score of 8 or more, you're going to want to reach out to them and ask them if they'd be willing to do a testimonial, right? Or you're going to reach out to them and ask them specifically if they would provide a review for you. Now, the reason this is really important, the reviews and the referrals are great, is because one helps provide some information and data and content that you can use at your marketing at top of funnel. And also the referrals allow you another source to go after and capture revenue by then asking if they would introduce you. Can they introduce you to 1 to 5 people? And some people build their loyalty programs around this, or they offer some level of spiff, right? Some kind of, special bonus, little something they give you for the referral. There are also partnership models around the concept of referrals where you might work with another business and you might have a reciprocating 15% referral, where they send you a customer, you give them 15%, you send them a customer, they give you 15%. So those also do exist. And that's a really good habit, is to look for the referrals that then you can build that relationship with. And the renewals are really important because that's where you get your upsell and or cross-sell opportunity. And so that's where you can ideally get your customer to buy again, and maybe not only buy again, but they may buy more, right? So start renewals engagement 90 days before renewal date. If you are using a CRM, you can set up an automation that triggers 90 days before, right, the end date of a particular contract. So there are ways in which you can automate your reviews, your referrals, and your renewal system to be as hands-free and allow you to kind of build off of the amplification that these provide you. So those are some great habits to get into. Use your referrals, ask for referrals, use your reviews, and drive renewals. All right. The next step here is effortless onboarding. So providing a 5-star onboarding experience has a direct effect on your renewals and your upsells. So what's interesting is if you have a phenomenal experience onboarding with a new provider, vendor, however we want to, a partner, you are more likely to carry the feelings of that great experience through the rest of your engagement with them. So make this as easy and frictionless as possible, right? And if you can, offer a concierge-like touch in onboarding. Usually this is a human-to-human connection. It's make them feel like a VIP, as simple as a 15-minute to a 30-minute call, or a live interactive webinar experience that gives people access to then communicate with you directly. But a concierge, frictionless, kind of easy, effortless experience of working with you, that that pretty much can guarantee you renewals or not guarantee you renewals. So I always want to talk about your onboarding is at the very beginning of that relationship that you have with a customer. So it's after that like, know, trust, and they've made the purchase. It's that moment right after the purchase that will shape the impression that they have of your organization until the end of that contract, right? And so make it easy, make it frictionless, and provide ideally some kind of human concierge touch point experience, just to make that one even better. After the onboarding is another area of touch point to ask for a customer satisfaction so that you can start getting scored and getting feedback, right, on how that actually is working for you. Wow, did I say feedback? What a segue, right? All right. So now let's take feedback seriously. Creating feedback loops outside of your confirmation bias is really going to be important as you think about the habits you want to build inside your organization that's going to help keep your customers happy. It's by creating feedback loops outside of your own confirmation bias, meaning you have to listen to what your salespeople bring back from the field. You have to listen to what the marketers are telling you about what people engage with from content and offer and promotion. There needs to be listening to what the product people think might be the best way to do something. But most importantly, you have to think about feedback loops outside of your internal organization, because eventually it just becomes a confirmation bias bubble. So things to note here. Your buyers and your users' motivation for working with you might be different than what you think about the problem you're solving might be. So, and you also, if your client or customer has a buyer, but they may not be the user, right? The user is going to be really important, right, when it comes to renewals, because they're going to provide feedback to the buyer. So we not take this seriously. So your support tickets here, if you have support tickets or your support emails, so I think of whatever mechanism your customers, your clients use to get in touch with you for support, save those emails of what they're sharing, complaining, asking for. All of that is just a treasure trove of insights. Now, as you think about your surveys and incorporating those into your customer journey so that at the top of the funnel and getting into the very first step of engagement with you, and then getting to kind of the end or the possible renewal engagement with you, keep these surveys very specific and ask as few questions as possible. Your charge here is not to try to collect all the data in one felt swoop, right? Now, I prefer incremental kind of data collection over time, which can help give you a more complete picture, but you don't have to try to complete the whole picture on day one of engagement, right? Collect data and be very specific about the data that you're collecting and why you're collecting it. If you're not going to use that data to inform something, whether it's a product development decision, a marketing decision, a support need, or something about the account's health and how you're going to be able to engage with it, and then the data that you would use potentially to create automations off of. Be very explicit and clear about the data that you're collecting, and use as few syllabaries as possible so that you can just capture little bites of information along the way. All right. This isn't a great example of creating a feedback loop system internally that allows you to build a habit, right, of understanding and designing and then implementing a solution that's actually addressing the root cause. Remember, we were going back to the technical versus the adaptive challenges. When you get support requests or complaints, right? Or you get somebody that might be using a product that they are saying, this doesn't work, it's broken. Most of the time, they may not even know how to utilize it properly, so that it's not broken, it's actually performing as expected from the product team. But the users, it's not meeting the user's expectation. So there needs to be some investigation to understand, right? Is this really about how we built it? Or is it a lack of knowledge that can be solved with communication and support? Or is there something really broken here that needs to be designed and implemented as a fix, right? So traditionally we get into the kind of the reaction phase of supporting, where it's a tactic, it's like a blocking and tackling constantly against kind of singular issues coming out. I always love trends. If you have more than 3 people, 5 people, depending on how big your customer base is, telling you the exact same thing, that's when you go down the rabbit hole. If you have one person telling you one thing, you need to figure out whether or not, if that's kind of like, maybe they missed that knowledge base option. Maybe they didn't see the video tutorial. Maybe you don't have a video tutorial, and now this is an opportunity to build a video tutorial so it helps this person as well as future others that might have the same problem. So it's really, really important to create this kind of environment. Why is that important? Because everybody's got priorities, right? Every kind of piece of the organization has priorities, but we can't do it all, right? So a habit to get into is prioritization and getting really good with prioritization. Now, knowing how to prioritize, its capability, it's a skill, meaning there are tools that you can use to help you prioritize. And there are capabilities you can learn and habits that you can develop through these capabilities that get you comfortable with like a routine of prioritizing what you need to do. There's a 4-quadrant. I don't have it in this one, but I want to tell you about it. Is called the Eisenhower matrix, and it's 4 quadrants. And it really comes down to, is the issue or the problem you're trying to solve, is it urgent and important, right? It's an and, meaning it's both. You kind of need to stop and address that issue. If it's important, but if it's urgent but not important, you're going to plan for it, right? So you're not going to drop everything to address it. You're going to say, like, okay, we know this is important, we're going to plan for it. And if it's urgent but not important, you should delegate it to whoever you can, right? But if it doesn't meet those pieces of criteria, is it urgent and important? Is it important? Is it urgent, right? If it's and, you're going to do it immediately. If it's important, you're going to plan for it. And if it's urgent, you're going to delegate immediately. So priorities are great. But what's interesting is we have to take priorities or the ideas or the problem we're trying to solve, right? And we have to connect it to the outcomes that you expect, right? Connecting ideas to outcomes will help you understand how to define the work you're going to want to do or need to do to get to the outcome that you've defined. All right. This is a little bonus I love to have, especially when it comes down to, as you prioritize these ideas, right? This is a great little you pick 2, right? So maybe Panera was inspired by this. I don't know. Maybe not. This is more of a product development kind of framework, but it's also related to customer service, right? So if you want your experience to be good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. If you want it to be fast and good, it's not going to be cheap. And if you want it cheap and fast, it's not going to be good. So as you're prioritizing these ideas and outcomes that you're looking to do work for, meaning assign work, commit to work, run past this good, cheap, fast concept, right? If you know that you have to have it fast, okay, Well, is it going to be fast and good, or is it going to be fast and cheap? Right? Because if it's going to be fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. And in some cases, it doesn't have to be good to get started. Sometimes it might be good enough to get some data to tell you what to improve on next time. And I always laugh about, like, even multi-billion-dollar multinational companies, you can't have it all because they don't even have all the money to throw at this stuff. Okay, so I want us to go real quick. We're going to cover our 3 habits, right? We're going to automate the R's. Reviews, referrals, renewal systems. You're going to focus on grabbing little pieces of information and building it into an automated system so that you can get to a hands-free engagement on this space that helps your lower end and then feeds your top of funnel. All right, now, again, we're going to do effortless onboarding. We're going to create 5-star onboarding experiences because this has the most influence on whether or not you're going to get to renew somebody by selling them again or selling them again and more, right? And then ideally, you want a concierge touch point here, some type of human-to-human component. And we're going to take feedback seriously, right? We're going to create feedback loops outside of confirmation bias. So again, you're going to do understand the motivations, seek feedback outside of the internal players inside the organization, survey with kind of simple, explicit, incremental gathering of data, and use your support emails and tickets and really go through those and pull out those insights and then decide, are these really the problems that we need to be solving? Is this really pilot error? Meaning, they just need communication and maybe some training to do it better, or maybe they need clarity about what the expectations of engagement with you are, right? So those are our 3 habits that you can get into for your business that will really keep your customers happy, and it will help build the right kind of rhythm for you to capture the right data so you can consistently make your customers happy over and over again. All right. And again, don't forget our good, cheap, and fast twofer. All right. So if you liked this content so far, I am offering, this is a limited time offering where we would usually for $2.99. This is my end of the year special offer, which is for $99, you can get a self-guided SWOT analysis workshop where you focused on your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. The strengths and weaknesses focus internally of the organization, and the opportunities and the threats really look at outside the organization coming towards the organization. This guides you through exercises to think about your business through this lens. And then you get to book a one-on-one with me where we go over your SWOT, and I'm gonna ask you questions, and I'm gonna poke at it a little bit to make sure that there's context and rationale underneath some of the decisions that you made where you've gotten to your priorities and your outcomes and the actions that you're going to take. All right. So again, this is a special offer for you for $99, which is normally $300. You can get this. Now, there's another thing I want to introduce you to. And this is a readiness score, my readiness score assessment. Now, the reason I offer this as an assessment is because if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, what you have to manage when you're trying to bring more or new to your organization is that it is going to require some internal change, maybe some work processes, maybe bringing new people into the team, maybe changing roles in the organization and moving people around to roles that better fit where you want to take the business, right? And so how much risk and pain can you tolerate? This is what's your appetite, what's your organization's appetite for risk, and how much pain can you tolerate before you kind of give up? Now, I'm not one to give up. I recommend pushing through the pain, because on the other end of that pain is tremendous relief and acceleration. So I offer this readiness assessment so that you can take a look at it. Now, if you score low it means that you need some assistance. You need a partner that's going to help you understand how to guide others through change, and including guiding yourself through change. And you might need to guide yourself through change before you help others, or you might be in the midst of it right now. So take this assessment, and if you score less than a 20, I highly recommend this next opportunity. Starting in January, I'm bringing a group coaching program. We're starting a fresh cycle, and it's called the Change Catalyst Collective. This is a group coaching program. It begins on January 11th at 9 a.m., and that's a Saturday. And then I will also be the Tuesday after the Saturday. That will be held more in the evening to accommodate the different types of schedules that many entrepreneurs and business owners have, which is you don't have a lot of time during your business day to take care of the things for yourself. So I wanted to make this available so that you could make sure that you could prioritize this in your time by making it a little easier to prioritize. So these sessions will be held on a Saturday morning and on Tuesday evenings bi-weekly. So we meet twice a month, and we'll be covering the same topic. Usually it's in the same month, we'll be covering the same topic. You're going to learn to guide your organization changes through the adaptive challenges, where we get comfortable in understanding like how to get to root cause analysis. And then we're going to emphasize these practical strategies that are going to help you. So there's a curriculum that's based again off of building business agility capability. And we do that by learning the behaviors that are going to help create customer-centric and engaged, people first leadership, flexible operations, value-based delivery, those pieces through the lens of change management using business agility principles and capabilities. So this starts in January. And if you are interested in this at all, just put in the chat, I'd like to learn more. And this is all I wanted to also add. If you work with me on your SWOT, which is, I think it's a foundational beginning document where I typically will start with people. If you decide you want to join the coaching catalyst, right? The coaching group, our Catalyst Collective, I will apply your $90 towards this price. And this is a 1-year program. It's a commitment, and it's $999. So that's what I wanted to let you all know, that my focus right now is on helping organizations understand how to prioritize some of the, dare I use the jargon, low-hanging fruit, because a SWOT can really surface stuff that is kind of we should really be focusing on this, or we really need to focus on this. Working with me for 1 hour, you're going to get a lot of value, very specifically targeted for your business. So it'll be catered to the questions you have for your business. And then the Change Catalyst it is a collective, it's a group, and there'll be people joining every week so that we can start building a community within this collective, and start creating more acceptance of change management, because it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just something to work your way through. With that, I am going to ask, what did you like about the presentation best? And if you raise your hands, and I'll unmic you, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, what you liked best about this presentation as a whole. Who'd like to start? Would love to know. Any comments? All right. Oh, great. That's great. All right, Perna, I'm going to, there we go.
Hi.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the entire presentation. So, specifically, the stage I'm in right now, I see the beginning stage where identifying technical change versus adaptive change. So, I mean, I think that was most interesting thing. I
Mm.
kind of uh, find it very useful for me. I mean,
Mm.
that's where most of the people miss so many things. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's very useful for me. And after that, all the principles you have mentioned, like they are also very useful. I mean, that's the most unique thing I find it for the first
Great.
time. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much. All right. Is anybody else have something they want to add? Engaging, straight to, oh, thank you, Monique. I love that. Monique, straight to the point, engaging. Well, I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm just trying to give you some value and hopefully help you. All right. So, um, I'm going to put this here. Let's keep in touch. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me as Stephanie Cord Miller. I use my middle name because it's mine, it's unique, and it's easy to find me when you put it in there. And then you can also visit my website to learn more about any of this, any additional services. But I'm really focused on helping people with end of the year with this SWOT, with this strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the self-guided workshop, and the one-on-ones to look at kind of setting up the 2025 for success, and then coming into the coaching program to carry on that work that is being surfaced that's really going to be important for you to follow through. So with that, I'm going to also put this here, and I'm going to also I'm just going to kind of open it up, and I'm going to just say I'm going to provide at you all to unmute. So if there's anybody who'd like to add anything else, please let me know. Are there any other topics that you would love to learn more about that you heard about today? So I know that, Perna talked about adaptive challenges. That's awesome. So to me, what that says is I need to add more in about adaptive challenges because it's really resonating with people. Every time I give this talk, that one really resonates a lot. So I'm taking feedback, and there might just be one webinar dedicated to adaptive challenges coming soon. Any other, anything else? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I just want to thank you so much for being part of the 3 habits to keep your customers happy. And I look forward to, I'm offering this again on November 12th. It'll probably be same, but maybe a little different. So same, but different, because I'm going to take feedback and incorporate it going forward. So I want to thank each of you for coming and spending your lunchtime or an hour of your time with me today. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you again in the near future. So with that, thank you and have a nice day.